Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are building this fitness homepage using Next.js. And in the previous video, we designed the nav bar and this is how it looks. Now in this video, we will design this hero section. So let's get started. This is our source code, and if we go back to our original design, we can see that when we reload the page, we can see that we have this animation, and for this we're going to use a library called motion.dev. So you can just go to this website called motion.dev and you can find the instructions on installing it. So if you just go to React, here we can see that we can just type npm install motion. So let's go back to our source code. Let's type npm I motion. You can also type install and let's press enter. And with that, motion has been installed into our project. Right now, let's go ahead and create a component for the hero section. So here in the components folder, let's create a new file called hero.tsx. And like always, let's go ahead and type export default function and let's call it hero. And let's return a div for now and let's type hero section. And let's import this in our home page. So here we can see we have the page.tsx file. So let's open that, and here after the nav bar, let's go ahead and type hero and let's import it from components hero. So now let's go back to our website, and we cannot see the text because it is behind this nav bar. So if we go back to our hero component and if we just add some padding top, so let's type class name pt of 24. And now if you go back, here we can see that we have the hero section being displayed over here. So now let's go ahead and start styling the hero section. So I'll just delete the div and let's create a section. So let's create a div for that, and in that we'll have an image tag. So let's use the image tag from Next.js. So you can just type image and let's import it from next image. Now this image tag will give us some more optimization for the images. So here let's go ahead and set the source. Now here in the public folder, I have added some images. So here we can see we have an image called fitnesshero.jpeg, and we're going to use this in our design. So here in the source, we can just directly type /fitnesshero.jpeg. And let's also add some classes over here for the section and the div. So for the section, let's type class name. Let's set the height to screen, which is 100 viewport height. Let's set the position to relative so that we can position the image absolutely so that it is spanned across the whole hero section. And then let's add some more classes. Let's type display of flex, items center, and justify center. So this will bring the content to the center horizontally and vertically. Let's also type overflow of hidden so that anything outside this section will not be displayed. So let's also add a padding top of 16 because of the nav bar. And now for this div of the image, let's go ahead and add some classes. So let's type class name. Let's set it to absolute. And let's type inset 0 so that the top, left, right, and bottom positions are set to 0. But now for the image, we also need to add an alt. So let's set the alt to fitness background. And we also need to add width and height for the image tag. And for that, we can just type fill so that it will fill 100% of the width and the height of the parent. And let's also add class name of object fit to cover. So let's type object cover. And let's also type object center so that the center of the image is displayed. And now if you go back to our website, here we can see that the image is being displayed. Now we also need to add an overlay, this dark overlay over the image so that we can see this text clearly. So for that, let's create a div inside here. And let's add some class names. So let's type class name of absolute, inset of 0, bg black 50. So this will set the background color to black, and 50 is the opacity. So now if you save this, if you go back, here we can see that we have this dark overlay over the image. And if I just set the opacity to, for example, 90, this is how the image looks. So let's set it back to 50. All right, now let's add the content. So we have this heading, we have this text, and we have these two buttons and this element over here. So let's go back, and here, let's go outside this div. Let's create another div. Now in this, we'll have another div, and in the div we will have an h1, and here we just type transform your body, and let's add a span because we need to add a different color for the next text. So here in the span, let's go ahead and type transform your life. Now here for the main div, let's also add class names. So let's type relative so that we can add a z of a higher value. So now this text will be displayed on top of the image. So here we can see that the text is being displayed over here. If you don't add this, then the text won't be displayed. It will be behind the image. So here let's also set the text color to white. Let's also type text center and padding left and right of 4, and let's set the max width to 4 XL. And here we can see our text is being displayed over here. Now for the H1, let's add some classes. So here let's type class name text 5XL for a larger text, and for medium or larger screens let's type text 7XL, and font black for the font weight, font heading which is the Oswald font, and margin bottom of 6, and leading tight so that we have the correct line height. So this is the text. Now for the text below we need to add a different color. So we have already set the primary color, so we can just simply type class name text primary. So this will add the correct color for our text. Now below the text we need to add this paragraph. So I'll just copy this. Let's go back, and here let's create a paragraph. Let's type class name and let's paste it over here, and let's type class name text XL, and let's set the margin bottom to 8, font weight to light, leading relaxed for a higher line height, and max width of 3XL, and let's go back. This is how it looks. I think we can increase the font size on larger screens. So here let's go ahead and type MD medium or larger, and let's type text 2XL. So this is how it looks. Right now let's add these two buttons over here. So for that let's go back. Let's go outside this paragraph. Let's create a div, and let's use the button from ShadCN. So we can import it from UI button, and here let's type start free trial. Let's create one more button, and here we need to type view plans. Now for the buttons, let's set the size to large. We will do the same for this one, size of large. And for the second button, let's set the variant to outlined. So let's type variant, and here let's type outline. Now let's also add some gap between these buttons. So here for the div, let's type class name, let's type flex, and let's type flex call for smaller screens, and for larger screens let's type flex row. Let's add a gap of 4. Let's type justify center. So this is how it looks on larger screens, and on smaller screens this is how it will look. Now I think the line height of this is not correct, so we need to make it even tighter. So let's go back over here to the H1, and here let's type leading tighter. So now the line height seems to be correct. Right now for the buttons, let's go ahead and type class name BG primary for the color, and hover. When you hover over this, we need to change the color to BG primary 90. So we can see this is how it looks. And let's set the text size to large, and let's type font semi bold. And when you hover over this, we can see that we have this transform, the scale changes. So for that, let's go ahead and type transition transform duration of 300 milliseconds. And when you hover over this, we need to change the scale to 105. Now let's add almost the same styling to this button as well. So let's type class name, let's type BG transparent, and let's copy these styles from here, and let's paste it over here. And I think we also need to add some more padding left and right for these buttons. So here let's go ahead and type padding left and right, which is PX, and let's set it to 8. Let's do the same for this button, PX 8. And with that, we have styled our buttons. Now I don't think this paragraph is centered correctly, so let's go back. And for the P tag, let's also type MX auto. And now it is exactly in the center. And the last thing we need to add is this element over here. So for that, let's go back, and let's go below this div over here. And here let's go ahead and create a scroll indicator. So I'll just add a comment, scroll indicator. Let's create a div, and for this div, let's go ahead and add a class name. Let's type absolute for the position. Let's type bottom of 8, left of half, and now it will start from the center, but we also need to bring it to the center exactly. So for that, we need to type minus translate x half, And let's also add an animation. So let's type animate bounce. So this is a built-in animation in Tailwind CSS. And this div, let's create another div, and let's type class name. Let's set the width to 6. Let's set the height to 10. Let's type border of 2, border color to primary foreground, rounded full, and flex, and justify center. So this is our element. We also need to add a line inside this. So for that, let's go ahead and create another div, and let's add some class names over here. So let's type class name of width 1, height of 3, background of primary foreground. Let's type rounded full, margin top of 2, and let's add animate pulse. So here we can see we have this animation. Right now, the last thing we need to do is add the animation for all the elements. So if we go back to the original website, and if I reload this page, we can see that we have this animation. So for that, let's go back over here, and we need to change the elements that we need to animate into a motion tag. So first of all, let's import motion over here. So let's type import asterisk as motion from motion react client. And here for this div, which contains the heading, the paragraph, and the buttons, let's go ahead and change this into a motion.div, and we need to end the tag over here. And then we need to add the initial state, the animate state, and also transition. So let's do that. Let's type initial. So initially what we need to do is set the opacity to 0, and we need to set the Y to 24, so it will come up from the bottom. So now we cannot see anything, so let's add animate, and for the animate we need to type opacity of 1 and Y of 0. So now if we reload this page, we can see that the animation is being displayed. Let's also add some more control. So let's type transition, and here let's type duration, and let's set it to 0.7. Let's type delay, and let's go back and reload. So this is how it looks. Let's also add an easing. So let's type ease. Let's set it to ease in out. So this is how it looks. Now let's add some delay for each of these elements. So for the paragraph, let's change this into a motion.p. So here let's go ahead and type initial, and let's type opacity of 0, Y of 12. Let's type animate, opacity of 1, Y of 0, and let's also type transition. Let's type delay of 0.3. Let's see how it looks. Let's reload this page. So this is how it looks. Let's also change the duration, and let's type duration of 0.8. And I think we can go ahead and delete these from here, and let's add it to this h1. So I'll just type motion.h1, and let's add the attributes over here, and let's remove the motion from here. So now if you go back, it looks all right. Let's also change the duration a little bit. Let's change it to 7. Let's see how it looks. Let's also change the Y over here to 12. Okay, that looks all right. Right now, let's style the buttons. So here for this div, let's change this into a motion.div. And let's type initial. Initially, let's set the opacity to 0, Y of 12. Let's type animate. Let's type opacity of 1, Y of 0. And let's also type transition. Let's type duration of 0.7. Let's add a delay of 0.5. Let's see how it looks. Let's reload this page, and this is how it looks. I think we can decrease the delay a little bit. So let's go back, and let's set the delay to 0.45. So here we have a delay of 0.3. Let's set it to 0.4. Let's go back. Let's reload, and that looks all right. So with that, we have styled our hero section. Let's also take a look at the mobile version. So this is the mobile version, and this also looks all right. Alright, so that's basically it for this video. In the next video, we will design the other sections of our website. So we have other section called our programs. So we will design this in the next video. So if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.